Kiaora guys, what's going on, and welcome back to my channel, and happy new year, happy 2021. As you guys can see, I'm in a little bit of a different setup, got a little bit of fairy light, some Gymshark action going on over here, and that's because I moved into a new flat for 2021. Nonetheless, in today's video, I was thinking I should probably go over some goals for 2021. I'll talk a little bit about my personal goals, then I thought I'd give you guys a little bit of an update on how the Gymshark66 challenge is going, because it is the 7th today, which means that 1 week has passed in this challenge. So yeah, if you like the sound of this video, keep on watching. Alrighty, so when it came to New Year's resolutions, I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I always find that I set these really huge goals and I don't achieve them, or they're actually not achievable from the beginning, so I end up giving up on them real early. So this time around I was really focused on making sure that the goals that I did set could be realistic for me if I worked hard enough. So to give you guys an update on what 2020 holds for me, so I am currently working over the summer at my job at the gym, which is awesome, as a group fitness instructor and just general front desk stuff. So yeah, I'll be working there, and that job will carry on throughout the year, just part-time along with my studies. So as you guys would have seen from my past couple of videos, I graduated, so that's awesome. I am now officially a Otago alumni and I graduated with my bachelor's, but that is not it for my study. I'm gonna just dive myself in a little bit deeper into debt, and I'm gonna go and do my master's as well. So that will be in advanced nutrition, and I'm gonna aim it towards the sports nutrition side of things. So I will be working part-time at the gym still, and then I'll also be doing my master's, which is a paper-based master's. So for those of you who know what a master's is, a lot of the time it has a thesis or a dissertation or something like that that you have to complete or do some research. My one is not a research-based master's, it is a paper-based master's, where obviously you do a lot of hands-on and practical stuff during those, but don't have to write a thesis. That's pretty much what I didn't want to write a thesis. I'm not necessarily interested in the research side of things. I mean, good on you if you are, but it's not for me. So yeah, this paper-based masters will be brilliant. I'm hoping that with these goals, it means that I can actually achieve them, and I'm just, gonna work on that time management and making sure that I, work hard to get all the goals that I achieve, because you know what? I feel after 2020, I feel like it's time to pick it up a notch. I feel like the world kind of came crashing down on all of us, and now it's just time to turn around and be like, you know what? 2021's our time, and I don't want to jinx it by saying that, so touch wood, but 2021, let's go team. Alrighty, so starting off, so I listed my goals into 6 different categories. So I have my Instagram goals, my YouTube goals, my materialistic goals, my gym goals, university goals, and then also nutrition based goals. So I thought, because we're on YouTube, why not start off with my YouTube goals? I feel like that's a real good place to start. So currently I'm sitting at about, I think it's about 230 subscribers, like around about that number. By the end of 2021, so by December 31st, 2021, I want to have reached 1,000 subscribers. It is a big goal. It's a big goal for a little small, New Zealander girl with me or the channel, but I think it's definitely realistic. Like, I think I could reach it. It was very slow starting getting those subscribers, but recently every time I check my account I've got a couple more subscribers here and there. So I think if I, for the next 51 weeks of the year, keep pushing through, uploading my video every Sunday, if not twice a week potentially, if there's like extra videos that I want to film, I seriously think that 1,000 subscribers could be really realistic. And so then, alongside that, I'd want to be consistent with my uploads. A little bit in the past year in 2020, I either didn't have anything that I wanted to film, or my editing, I just left it till last minute, and then software would crash, internet problems, all of that sort of stuff. Murphy's Law, and then I wouldn't be able to post at 7 o'clock on a Sunday like I normally would. So this time round, every Sunday night I'm being consistent. Alright, so next up is Instagram. I really want to increase my social media presence. So at the moment I'm sitting a little closer to 1,000. I think I'm sitting at about 860 followers. It's not terrible. I like to think about it that if you were sitting in a room and 860 people were standing outside or came into the room to have a look at what you were doing and watch your life and what you were up to, that's a lot of people. But realistically, in the big scheme of things, for Instagram and for the purposes of, reaching a wider audience and spreading your message, especially for me in terms of nutrition and exercise, 1,000 subscribers isn't a great deal, but that is the goal. I want to hit 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. I know that that's not a lot. That's only about, what, a couple of hundred more subscribers? I'm thinking of YouTube team, but followers, there's only a couple hundred more. It's definitely a realistic goal, that's for sure. And if I meet more, then awesome. I'll get more followers and that'd be great. But the goal is to hit at least 1,000 followers. And then once again, consistent uploads every day. And that doesn't necessarily mean on my feed. So like, you know, the 1x1 photos on the grid, not necessarily meaning I have to post there every day, although that can often be seen more than some of my other things. But just posting in general. So that's either stories, reels, or potentially on the feed as well. And I didn't actually write it down, but I was just thinking about it. I kind of think I might get into reels, or try, or TikTok or something like that, because I feel like that's a way that you can really boost your following by doing that, because obviously there's so many people on that platform, and it'd be a really, really good, easy, quick way of just getting that nutritional information out to everybody. So 2 seconds, I'm gonna write that one down. Brilliant, awesome. So let's head on to the next one. I've tried to keep this one really, really short because I want to try and focus a little bit less on the materialistic goals this year. Simply because, not necessarily saying money is a hard thing, but as a student, you know, you're really got to watch that money. And then after this year, I'll have half a year of placement, and then I'll be heading off into the real world as an adult, and it'd be good to have some savings in the back pocket. So obviously savings is just like a general thing. People always like, I want to save some money. That's great. So I've got a plan in place that for every paycheck that comes in, I get paid fortnightly, that I will put a certain amount aside, which I'm obviously not going to state for purposes on the camera on the internet, but I've got a certain amount that I will put aside into savings, a certain amount that I will put aside into kind of like a emergency future sort of thing, sort of bank account. Mainly, I've already got one that's already started, but I'm going to add more to it. It's for things like buying a future house, you know, a wedding and all that sort of future stuff, or potentially if there is an emergency that we need money. Me and Jerry being the we, by the way. But so for my one materialistic kind of item is that I really, really want to grab a new laptop to replace the one that I have there. It's not that it's a bad laptop, it's just for editing purposes on YouTube. It's not necessarily the greatest, it's a little bit slow and it kind of bugs out a little bit and crashes, so I really want to invest in a decent laptop. I think I'm aiming at getting a MacBook Pro, so that's, you know, $3,000 to $4,000, which is a ridiculous amount, and I have set aside a certain amount that from my paycheck every fortnight that I will be putting into that bank account. Although it doesn't mean that I'll necessarily have that amount of money by the end of the year, but I'm hoping that, you know, there'll be some fortnights at work where I'll do a little bit of extra work, or I don't know, might sell a few things and come into a bit of money that way. So yeah, I've put money aside for savings, just general savings, putting money away for the future in emergencies, and then putting money towards a laptop, which is my materialistic goal for this year. Alright, and now on to probably, I would say, the 2 most important categories for me for this year. The first of which being university. And so I'm not here to spend thousands and thousands of dollars for no reason. So this year I really want to focus hard. The main reason for this is because when I go into my placement after this year, when I go into 2022, I have that 6 months of placement I was talking about. With this masters that I'm doing, there is a bunch of different organisations within Dunedin and potentially distance, they haven't decided yet, but at least for now in Dunedin, that you can kind of apply to do your placement internship. There is one place in Dunedin I would love to work for my placement more than anywhere else, and that is High Performance Sports New Zealand. Now the only problem with this, it is very hard to get your placement there because that is probably, it's like top dogs, it's like the best place out of the whole group, everyone wants to go there sort of thing. If you do sports nutrition, you want to go high performance sports, and they don't necessarily take a lot of people. So that is the goal this year, to work really, really hard, to keep on top of all my work, making sure I'm putting in those extra hours, which it should be anyway, but I'm just meaning, you know, a little bit extra on top. Because I really, really want to increase my chances of getting that placement. So hopefully at the end of this year, guys, I'll have a little bit of positive news, and hopefully I will get my performance sports, who knows. Other than that, I'd really like to work with potentially one of the football organisations around Dunedin. I feel like although I haven't personally played football in my you know, my life or anything like that. I've played hockey, it's a very similar sport. Don't come at me, I know they're not the same. But I've also had a boyfriend for almost 7 years now who has played football for the entire time, and I feel like I, you know, kind of know the sport a little bit. And in terms of nutrition, there are very, I would say, more simple body type and exercise type to work with. So I think that would be a really cool one to work with as well if I couldn't get High Performance Sports New Zealand. The next one here I have is nutrition, and that doesn't necessarily mean my nutrition. Like obviously, yeah, I'll still focus on my own nutrition and it's great, but I feel like I have that kind of under wraps a little bit. But what I mean by nutrition is I really want to do a little bit of a, not necessarily a side hustle, but just something I can have on the side and work with on the side throughout the entire year. And the first thing is I want to write a healthy swaps kind of ebook document sort of thing that I can pass on to people that might not necessarily have a lot of nutritional knowledge, and they might be, for example, picking up a can of baked beans and going, oh yeah, like they're really cheap, it's like $2 for a can of baked beans, you know, it'll feed us for dinner. And then I'll turn around and just be like, well actually if you look at the amount of sugar and sodium in these, they're no good for you whatsoever. I bet you that I can make a healthy swap for the same price and have reduced sugar, reduced salt, all that sort of stuff. So that's kind of what I'm aiming for, just to work at it over the year, kind of add different foods, things that people might like, trying to keep it in a relatively cheaper budget, or you know, relatively same prices for the foods that you would originally be buying. So I think that'd be really cool, and it also just adds to too much talking. It kind of just adds to my repertoire as well. So if someone was like, hey, what have you done in terms of the nutrition field, I'll be like, alright, this is kind of the work experience that I've done. I've also on the side made this, and it's just really good to have a bit of a built up repertoire. And along those lines, I also really want to work around like just experimenting with healthy snacks. So I made a set of bliss balls, which I called my Triple C bliss balls. They're cacao, cranberry and coconut. Absolutely delicious. They've got a decent amount of protein in them. Only problem is I was not happy with the rest of the macros in terms of like the fat content. So it'd just be kind of playing around with the ingredients, playing around with the recipes and figuring out what I can use to make some really nutritious but also delicious healthy snacks, and not only for myself but that I can share with friends and family, and maybe on Instagram, YouTube. If you guys like the idea of that, I can, you know, come up with some healthy options for you guys. And finally, I would really like to do some sort of volunteer work in terms of nutrition. There isn't a lot of places in Dunedin where you can just, you know, go and apply for internships. A lot of the sports nutrition places, well, there just isn't really a lot of them, which is, it's fine, it is what it is. And a lot of the places that there are for sports nutritionists, you need to be a dietitian, which I am not. I will be qualified as a nutritionist once I do my registration. So yeah, I'd love to do some voluntary work, just, you know, again, adds to the repertoire. It means you can kind of get into the community and see what's happening around there and see what the potential downfalls are in the community nutrition, and see where you can go from there to increase that and provide information about it as well. Alright, and circling on back, because I missed a category, it is for the gym. And so I've got a couple of goals. They're the ones that I said for my Gymshark66. So if you haven't watched that video, I'll just link it up in the, I think it's on that side, link it up in the eye. But pretty much at the end of the 66 days, I want to be able to do 5 pull-ups by myself, which it's going to be a mission, team. I tried to do one, I couldn't do one. I was able to do 5 pull-ups with 2 bands, which was a purple and a green band, so kind of heavier resistance, but you know, we're still going to work hard to get there. So I want to be able to do 5 pull-ups, which for the entire year's goal, I just want to be able to do pull-ups, and by the end of the year, be able to jump on a bar and just be like, strong. So yeah, that's that one. I also want to be able to do the splits, which again is a Gymshark66 one. And so for an extended goal throughout the year, I just want to keep up that flexibility and be able to continuously do the splits, not just do it for the 66 days and then be like, oh well, and get unflexible again. So there's that. I also want to gain a bit of muscle, and in doing that I have another goal, which is to take creatine every day. So creatine monohydrate, there is a lot of research on that. This is probably the most beneficial supplement for people in terms of their performance and building muscle and all that sort of stuff. So I am gonna try to be more consistent. I've actually got a little calendar, so it's just, you know, a January one with all of the days, and it's sitting in the kitchen so that every day I have to cross off the fact that I have taken a scoop of creatine, which is 5 grams I'm pretty sure, and so that is just to keep myself consistent throughout the year. So obviously supplements are not necessary, guys. Don't take it as law because I want to take it. But yeah, supplements can be good to help increase the gains that you're looking for, and for me in particular, I want to kind of increase the booty gains a little bit. You know, I've seen a little bit of difference from the past couple of years, but I think we just want to up that a little bit more, just a little bit more curvature, you know? Would be nice. But yeah, so those are my goals for the gym. Nothing crazy. I exercise to keep healthy, team. That's pretty much it. I don't have any physique goals as such. Like, yeah, cool, building a little bit of muscle would be awesome, but I'm not sitting here saying I want to be shredded with my six pack. But yeah, those are my gym goals. Alright, and finally, I realized I didn't write this down, and it is such a big one. I don't know why I didn't think about this before when writing things down, but mental health, team. Right, I feel like this year, instead of having a specific goal about my mental health, I think I just want to genuinely live life the way that I want to. I got to keep in mind that there are certain standards that people live by, especially in terms of social media. People are always like, oh, you've got to do this, you've got to do that. You know, if you do this, it's wrong. But I think as long as I keep true to myself with my Instagram and my YouTube with you guys, I think I'm going to be absolutely fine as long as I keep exercising to make myself happy, because that is a stress relief for me. Making sure that I get out in nature or just get outside at some stage every day. Just those general things you do every day to look after yourself, and you know, take a few self-care days if you need it. Take a rest day from the gym. Just looking after yourself. So I think that's it, team. I think that wraps up my goals for 2021. It's crazy to say that we're already here, but yeah, those are my goals. I hope you kind of resonated with them, or you know, you found it somewhat interesting. If you haven't made any goals yet, that's absolutely fine. Feel free to make goals. You don't have to. It's completely up to you. But you know, if you did, drop them below. Let me know. I'd be really interested to see what your guys' goals are for 2021. Alright, and before we wrap this up, I just wanted to do a quick little recap, a little bit of an update about my Gymshark66. So far, I'm going to pop a little video right here. My splits. So this is a week of progress. It's a little bit of progress. My left leg is still not great. Right leg, we're getting there, but I'm just going to keep doing my stretches, and that is a week of progress there. Alright, and for my reading, 10 minutes of reading every day. If you guys follow me on Instagram, I haven't filmed myself reading because I'm going to be honest with you, that is the most boring thing in the world. But I'll pop the books that I've been reading up here. So I managed to get through the entire Tasty Twins recipe book, and that was with like writing things down. So, you know, it took me a little bit longer than I expected to read it, but I've read the Tasty Twins cookbook. Would highly recommend, especially if you're a student. And then I've been slowly making my way through this one here, which is the Ross Edgley book, and it's absolutely brilliant. It's about how he swam all the way around Great Britain. So yeah, I definitely recommend that one. It is a very cool read, and there's a lot of tips and like mental mindset notes and stuff in there as well. So it's definitely a very cool book. I think if I remember rightly, I'm only about chapter 6 or 7 now, but you know, that's alright. I'm a little bit of a slow reader. So yeah, but that's alright. So those are the 2 books that I've been reading. And then finally the pull-ups. I've told you guys I could do 5 with 2 bands. So hopefully we'll make some more progress on that. I still can't do 1 without, but you know what? We're going to be hitting the 5, not 4, 5 by the end of Gymshark66. I'm telling you now, team, we're going to work hard. So yeah, that is the video, team. I do hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, give it a big thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe. Tick the little notification bell if you'd like to see more videos, as I post them every Sunday at 7 o'clock New Zealand time, because we're being consistent. But yeah, I hope you guys liked it, and I will see you next time. Bye.